Why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth. It was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Nancie Orticelli, President of the Constitutional Coalition of New York State, and as our name implies, we are based out of New York, specifically Western New York. If you're interested in getting involved with our group, you can find us on Facebook at the Constitutional Coalition of NYS, or Instagram or Twitter. And you can even send us an email at ccnys@usa.com. I'm going to get right into what I want to talk about today, because the information overload is a true and real thing, and sometimes it can get a little bit tricky navigating the waters of what is true, what is conspiracy theory, and what the government wants you to know, what they don't want you to know. And sometimes the things that they want you to know are more dangerous than what they do want you to know, because they're not known for telling the truth per se. But we are definitely headed into the fourth phase of globalism. You know, we've had lockdown, we've had masks. The third phase is vaccinations, in my opinion, and the fourth is a complete and total regime change from a constitutional republic to a communistic socialist regime. And, you know, people can laugh at me and think that I'm crazy. However, we never thought that certain people who are in office today would actually be in office saying the things they're saying and proposing the things that they're proposing. And all you need to do is look at your senators and your congresswomen and men and see what they are pushing for in their agendas. And, you know, folks, it's really not that hard to find those things out. A lot of people that I talk to ask, how do I find it out? How do I find it out? Google it. Go to DuckDuckGo. Go ahead and type in what bills are on the floor, either by state or by the country, and the information is right there at your fingertips. And yes, it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of reading, but it's really worth it to know exactly the direction that our country is headed in, because it is not a good one. It is not a good one. So as I said, the fourth phase, in my opinion, is a total regime change to socialism and communism. And I mean, they've already gotten us to the point of complete compliance with a total lockdown, which was insanity for a disease, a virus that has a less than 1% mortality rate. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense scientifically. It doesn't make sense logically why we would have a complete and total lockdown. And people say, just wear the mask. It's just a mask. It's not just a mask, folks. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of your blind obedience and your lack of understanding of basic scientific evidence as far as what can protect you and what can't protect you. In the beginning, Fauci said, masks will do no good for you. There's no sense to walk around in public wearing a mask. It makes absolutely no sense. And he said the only ones who need it would be healthcare workers. Now, he did say recently that the reason why he said that was because there were medical shortages, and they were anticipating PPE shortages. So you're telling me that a cloth mask, or what they're telling the public now, just use a t-shirt, just use a bandana, we were going to have a shortage of those? Think about it. Think about it. He said now that the reason he said back then that masks weren't important is because there was going to be a shortage of masks. What masks was he talking about? He wasn't talking about bandanas because there's not a shortage of those. He's walking it back. He's lying, trying to save face because the mask is a test. It is a test to see who will follow blindly and who won't. I am going to tell you right now, I have never worn a mask. Not once have I put a mask over my face. I know a lot of people don't believe me, but I also don't go anywhere. So I have not worn a mask. I am healthy. I am fine. People say, well, you're asymptomatic. Well, then you wear your mask and you stay home. I'm doing my part. I'm not going out in public as much. I'm staying home. So how about you do your part if you're going to be led by fear and not facts, and you stay home. So now when the numbers are declining as far as deaths, yes, infection rates are up. And the president was not ridiculous when he said that. I know media and the left took what he said and ran with it when he said we have more positives because there's more testing. But that's absolutely true. You could take 100 people that are in a building and who are not showing any symptoms, and they are living their lives, they're working, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're sleeping, they're fellowshipping, and at the end of it all, test them at the end of this pandemic, if there is going to be an end, you'd find out that they had antibodies because likely they were exposed to the virus. But you wouldn't have counted that group of 100 people in your testing because they didn't get tested, but then all of a sudden you're testing them, so now you have 100 more. So the president was absolutely right. And now, so infection numbers are up, but the death rate has lowered, and so they need to do something to instill fear again. So they're going to start all this massive testing, and you're going to get a bunch of positives. And another aspect of the testing is that the numbers that they're receiving now are not people who were tested now. They're people who were tested about 2 weeks ago. So we're kind of in a lag. So they're testing these people now and 2 weeks ago, and these numbers are coming in, and they're saying, wait a minute, you know, the death rate is going down. The death rate's going down. How are we going to control the people anymore? We got to talk about masks. We got to talk about masks and trust that the people don't have a brain in their heads to figure this out for themselves, to figure out, well, why all of a sudden masks? Well, we thought there was going to be a shortage of bandanas, because bandanas are fine, people. That's what they say. They're fine. It's a bunch of malarkey. Well, now in 25 states in the country, it is mandated to wear masks in public. In those 25 states, there are different penalties per state. I know here in New York State, it is mandatory to wear a mask in public in businesses. And we are having a lot of pushback from our governor as far as businesses are concerned. Just yesterday, July 16th, he stated that businesses, restaurants are not allowed to serve only alcohol. You have to buy food when you purchase alcohol. I don't know what that has to do with medical science. I don't know if there's some kind of secret that we don't know, that COVID-19 knows if you're only drinking alcohol and you're not eating food. But Andrew Cuomo seems to have a lot of information that the common man doesn't have. I mean, you know, we gave him an inch and now he's taking a mile. We told him, okay, we'll stay home for 10 to 14 days, flatten the curve. And he's made us stay home months. We told him, okay, we'll wear masks when we're unable to maintain the 6 feet distance regulation from people. Well, now you have to wear masks no matter what. Okay, we'll shut our businesses down and we'll just do drive-through service for our business. Well, now the businesses are open, but you can't just serve drinks. You have to serve drinks and food. What's next? What's next, folks? I mean, this man has taken his emergency powers and upped it to a dictatorial regime here in New York State. And I don't know if any of you are like me, but I really don't like people who are not my husband or my father or God telling me what to do. When Andrew Cuomo gets on the news and does his little press conferences and he yells at us and points his fingers at us, it makes me want to not do what he says. He is not a leader. He does not know how to lead. He is a dictator.